Right, coming up now, we have a five-piece indie rock band, and they're from Nottingham, and they're called Vanity Box. It's a pleasure to have you on the FM1 FM Breakfast Show. And the band comprises of lead singer Tom Chambers, Chris Miggles on keys and synth.
Oh, it's pronounced Miguel's, mate.
Oh, Miguel's, okay. And so Chris Miguel's on keys and synth, and Paul Robinson on drums, Darren Moulds on guitar, and not forgetting Jack Baines on bass. Right, good morning to you. How was your day going?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're just at a music festival at the moment in Leicester, and then we're heading over to another one later on.
Fantastic.
So quite a busy day.
Yeah, are you actually performing in the festival?
Yeah, we've just come off stage at one of them, and we're about to head down to the other, but we're on later, so hoping to just chill a bit, have a few drinks, and then do the next set. It's an evening show, so should be good, all lit up and that.
That's what it's all about. At least you got the weather for it as well. Right,
oh, yeah, it's crazy out here.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to go from the top. Right, first, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself, please?
About the band, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Cool. So what's happening recently? We've just recorded our album,
yeah,
and we're really excited about putting that out there. We've got our launch show in our hometown, Nottingham, at one of the best venues, which is Rescue Rooms, and we're headlining that to launch the album. It's going to be a really, really good night. So all looking forward to that. Lots happening. The album is called Chance Would Be a Fine Thing. It's available on iTunes and all of those digital distributors.
That's good, fantastic. You've been compared to the Arctic Monkeys, which that's a good compliment, surely.
Yeah, great band. I like their sound, especially their early stuff.
Good stuff. Right then, I must admit, a Vanity Box is a cool name for your band. I was just wondering, how did you come up with the name for the band?
That might be more of a question for Tom there. I'm not sure of the origin of the name, but I'm told from Paul that if you think about the concept of a vanity box, you open it, it's got all different shades of colours and things like that, which I suppose is the band members. We all bring a different colour, a different influence. So I think Darren, he's got a strong rock influence, and then Paul and Tom, they've got that indie vibe like Arctic Monkeys, that kind of thing. And myself as a keyboard player, I have a classical background, and I listen to all sorts of modern music. So I'm just into absolutely anything. And so I guess that's what a vanity box is, a mix of all different colours, and what comes out is what we are.
That's a really cool name, actually. It's good. It's good to have a name which stands out from everyone else, isn't it? And that surely does stand out.
Cheers for that.
Yes, all right, you're welcome. It's really refreshing to see bands like yourself bringing indie rock music back. Do you think that's what the charts are missing at the moment in today's music?
Well, yeah, it's a tough scene, really. I guess record labels, I think, have got a lot to answer for. I think they take the easy way out in terms of producing things. It's quite easy to put together manufactured music, but indie bands, it takes a bit of time to write. We're really quite careful with the writing process, and the recording. We spent a lot of time doing the recording, and we it's one of those things. So to get indie music back on the scene, I think is a huge thing. Yeah. So. Yeah, thanks.
That's good. Yeah, hopefully with our FM1 FM, we can only kind of like push it forward, so to speak.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah. So vinyl has made a resurgence recently. Do you think that is another positive step in the right direction, as CD sales have been dwindling now for a while?
Yeah, that's cool. I love listening to vinyl. I love giving them a spin. They have got a distinctive sound to them, and I think we're hoping to do some vinyls, like a limited edition press for the new album. So I love all that stuff. Cool. Even cassettes, things like that. Just listening to music in different ways. And what's more interesting about the vinyl side, music on iPods and mobile phones, you're listening to it while you're doing other things, but with a vinyl, it's something you actually sit down and listen as an activity. So I think that's a really positive thing. You can immerse yourself in the album cover and just sit and listen to the tracks, and I think that's important.
Yeah, especially with vinyl, I've noticed, because I've spun like vinyls in bars and clubs, and you do get more detailed sound on them, don't you? You get a more kind of all-round sound, like the bass is more detailed, isn't it?
Yeah, they're a lot warmer.
So, and this is perhaps the most cliche question of all time, but I have to ask, what music inspires you?
I think, as I say, we've all got different influences in the band, and we all bring that to the table, and then we kind of just build a sound around that, really. So myself, I like a lot of classical music, so You might hear in the album there's some orchestration going on, orchestra sounds, strings and things like that, which I think are really cool, especially when you marry that up with sort of the rock influence as well and the indie vibes. It's that very much that kind of thing, bringing a lot of different sounds together, and back to that sort of Vanity Box concept that we talked about earlier with the band name.
Fantastic. So you have a new single out now, or it's coming out soon. It's called No One Nowhere. What is the single?
Yeah, that's out now, yeah.
What is the single about?
Tom wrote the lyrics for that. He writes all the lyrics for the song, so he might be able to tell you more in depth. But I think my interpretation of it is we're an extremely hard-working indie band at the grassroots level. I think we believe we are good enough to, bring indie back on the scene and do something as a band. So I think we believe ultimately in the songs and in the music, and the chorus of that song is "No one nowhere can hide from this." Yeah. So that's the idea. You can't hide from it. It's there. It's coming.
Because I'm like being like radio presenting, and from personal experience, I do believe self-belief is, if you believe in yourself, then everyone will believe with you. Would that be a fair point?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anybody else to? So
Fantastic. So do you have any gigs coming up where we can come and see you play?
Oh, the big one is the Rescue Rooms at Nottingham. That's going to be a crazy night. Yeah, lots of great stuff happening, and it's the album launch event, so it's going to be a crazy launch party. That's definitely the one to get down to. That's on the 9th of September, Rescue Rooms Nottingham. 9th
of September, Rescue Rooms Nottingham. Be there, guys. And just a couple more questions to go. So do you have a website or Twitter page you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter if you search Vanity Box. And the website is www.vanity-box.com.
Righty-ho, thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best with your album launch and for the future. So without further ado now, here is an FM1 FM exclusive airplay of No One Nowhere by Vanity Box.